Okay, everybody. So I apologize again in advance for the audio. I'm using my headset. It's not as great as my microphone in the living room. So anyway, let's just kick this off. So let's get to the lab. I'm gonna pick King. Now I did do a live stream not that long ago. It was quite a long stream, and I was detailing some of the issues that I have with King personally. So I'm gonna go through this again. Oh, yeah, I picked the same damn outfit. So I'm gonna go through this. I'm gonna go through those issues right now, and just break down what I have the issues with, and hopefully people will understand where I'm coming from. Now, there are like a bajillion examples in Tekken in terms of things that I have an issue with, things that need to be adjusted, nerfed, you name it. So, but I think this is going to be a pretty simple breakdown. So I'm going to show a couple of things with King, and then I'm going to move on to the next character. So let me make sure I have the dummy set to do what I want him to do. Always throw back 1-2 strikes. Always do a while standing kick. Alright, so the first move is basically down forward 2-1. Now this move right here, this is 13 frames, as many people know, and it's only -6, which is really good. However, if the opponent decides, and I understand this might be preached to the choir, some of you may know, but some of you may not know, so that's why I'm doing this video. So you do down forward 2. Now obviously if you do down forward 2 twice, your opponent can jab you out of it. As you see, it's a counter hit. However, if I do down forward 2-1, you get a full combo. Now this is the move at regular speed. This is regular speed with no delay. Now I'm going to do a slight delay. See that? Now I'm going to do an even longer delay. See that? I delayed it so much, it actually traded. And even on a trade, as you noticed just now, and I didn't even intend to do this, you are plus 28 on your opponent's wake up. So you're able to do pretty much a whole bunch of other things. But most King players are not aiming for the trade. They're just aiming to interrupt your retaliation. And this move gives a pickup for an additional combo, basically. Right? Not a tornado, a full combo. Now the problem here is the fact that this move is allowed to be delayed. As far as I'm concerned, this is an example of very bad character balancing. The character King has far too many tools in Tekken 8 that also giving him the ability to do this bullshit is way too much. So now I'm going to take King off of punish, right? So safe, and the follow-up is safe. Now the follow-up is -4. So basically, if we set him to punish and we set him to attack after the second hit, you actually can get a free low crush, a high crush. Look at this. So even if your opponent, let's just say hypothetically speaking, you end up not ducking the attack, right? And you block the second, right? You block that part, the second part. Well, because King is only -4, he's able to still strike you. Now, at -4, against a 10 frame attack, he does not have the frames to do an armor attack. So if you take away, so it's -4, if you take away 4 minus 10, that's 6 frames. So in 6 frames, King does not have the advantage or the frames to pull off an armor attack. However, what he can do is that he can do a low crush, right, with a down back 3, right? or whatever other low attack. You can even sidestep. Look at that. You can sidestep. Look at this. We time it. I just did it. Or was it by accident? Hold on. Okay, I guess that other time was by accident. But the problem with this move is that both strikes are safe, and the attack itself, the string itself, it doesn't jail. So yeah, you can crouch underneath, like so. You can do this. The problem is that because the king can delay this attack, if he sees you crouch and he knows that the attack was blocked, right? Then if he knows the first attack is blocked, he doesn't have to commit to the second attack because you have the ability to delay the attack. So the way I would fix this, because this move needs to be addressed, because this is a bullshit string, is if you are of the mind where you want king to remain safe, or not safe, you want king to maintain the ability to do the combo follow-up as he's been able to do, then that delay needs to be completely abolished. It needs to be removed. There's no way that you can have a two-hitting string where both hits are safe on block. Also, it interrupts 10 frame or just any attack mash. I don't know. It probably I don't know about Yoshi Flash because that's another bullshit move, but I'm not gonna cover that right now. So if your opponent is mashing on a 10 frame retaliation, they're going to get clipped by the second strike, and it's not a like I said, it's not a tornado. It's a full knockdown. With you're able to pick up your opponent with down forward 4-3. So if we're going to maintain King's ability to pick up the opponent like usual, the developers must get rid of the ability for King to delay this string. You have to get rid of that. You have to make the King player commit to down 4-2-1. You have to make that commitment. Now, if you decide to remove the ability, or should I say the property, the combo property of down 4-2-1 with King, and instead, let's just say if it just knocks you down to the ground. Let's say it just knocks you down, right? It just like bam, a quick knockdown. Then I can see them keeping the delay. But you cannot give this character a two-hitting string where both strikes are safe. Sure, you can duck the second strike because the string is not jailing, but because of the ability to delay the string, it makes the ability to crouch it makes the fact that the string is not jailed irrelevant. Because even though, yeah, you can duck the second hit, but because I can delay it, it takes on more of a wait and see kind of approach. It's like, okay, if I'm a halfway decent King player, I can master the timing through repetition, and I can visually start to see with a high degree of success when I should just do the follow-up. And then if I see it's not going to work, I don't have to commit to it. That's too much power. That's too much power on top of the other bullshit that King currently has. So to recap for this point, if you are going to allow King to keep the combo property of down 4-2-1 on hit, you must get rid of the ability to delay this move. Conversely, if you remove the combo ability of King after him landing a down 4-2-1 and instead it just knocks you straight to the ground, then I can see them allowing you to maintain the delay. But you cannot have both. That is bullshit. So anyway, let me move on to this next part with King, because this is, I just find this to be a complete joke. And honestly, there's no real need for me to really break this down. The frames on the screen can show you, but I'll call it out anyway. So you see this move here? I call this twirl, right? When you just, now let's look at twirl 1, safe. Twirl 2, safe. Twirl 3, safe. Twirl 4, +8. Oh, and mind you, since this is this is not exactly a super slow move. Like, if you are literally poking and doing the typical King bullshit, like this, 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 you can get away with sneaking this into your offense. In fact, you can actually sneak and get this. You can actually get 2 spins if you structure your offensive pokes correctly. And if you manage to get 2 spins, the twirl 4 turns into an armor break. And that's guaranteed. Why? Tekken 8. That's why. So I do not agree, obviously, that literally every option, this is just completely safe. Every option, safe. Now, if you notice, twirl 1 and twirl 4 are both coming out at 17 frame startup. Now, you may be asking yourself, why do these 2 high attacks have the same startup? The answer is because they serve 2 very different purposes. Twirl 1 is meant to land as an attack. However, it's safe, right? So basically on hit, you get a full combo. Full combo. And it's going to hurt. Now, conversely, this is on hit. Now, if you land a hit on twirl 4, it just knocks you away. Now, it will wall splat near the wall. However, what you want your opponent to block, because now King is at a massive +8 on advantage. So twirl 1, it's designed ideally for you to make contact on your opponent, and it's safe anyway, so it doesn't even fucking matter. Twirl 4 is meant for you to block it so King can get the plus frames. Oh, and he gets 8 chip damage. So that's that. Now, if we look at twirl 2, now this is the mid option. So this is going to mix well with this twirl grab. Now, the thing that really makes this absolute bullshit is that when King is twirling towards you, he can snatch you up with either 1+3 or 2+4. So it's a guess. It's either a 1 or 2 break. It's not just simply one of those grabs where you can just mash out, right? You have to press the corresponding button for the exact same like, look at this. It's the there's no way you can tell, because if you look at it, let me see. So if you look at it, see, this is a 12 break, right? This is up forward both punches. However, this is a 2 break. You can see the arms. This is a 1 break. So why, when you're doing twirl 1 or 2, it's coming out as if it's a 12 break? Oh, and to make matters even more ridiculous, this tracks. So you can't even sidestep this. You can't sidestep this because it tracks you. Why? Who knows? Like, the grab itself, it has homing properties. That's why when you can see the homing property on screen. That's a homing property. Why Why is this being allowed, right? You see how he's waking up, sidestepping? You can't move. Now, if I were to do this and do a regular grab, watch. Hold on. Bam. Anyway, I can't really get the example the way I want it, but basically suffice to say, this is up forward 1+2, so you can see this is just a regular grab. There's no track. You see where it says hit properties? There's no homing to it. But if you do the twirl grab, you see that the blue icon that shows that it tracks. Why does this move track? Why? As if dealing with this was hard enough. So that right there has to go. As far as I'm concerned, I will touch on those type of properties because this goes into a gameplay mechanic. Okay, I will cover that later. So we're gonna sidebar that for now. But yeah. So basically, the mix between twirl, grab, whether it's a 1 break or a 2 break, comes out at 12 frames. So if you're trying to crouch, you're going to crouch right into this, which is 11 frames. So you basically have 1 frame difference between the chop or the grab. Good luck. Good luck dealing with that online, especially with people's bullshit Wi-Fi codes and drop frames. You're not going to be able to break this. It's very difficult. And again, that's also including dealing with shit like this and then this. Like it's so anyway, like I showed earlier, every single option from this is completely safe. Now, another bullshit aspect of King is this track star bullshit, this track star fuckery right here. See, Namco wanted to make King into a track star. Look at this bullshit. Why the fuck does he have this is beyond me. So, and then to make matters worse, track star 1, safe. Track star 2, safe and plus frames. Track star 3, safe. Why is this move safe? You know, I when I was on the stream, I actually demonstrated this. And look at this bullshit. Hold on. So we're going to go to photo mode, right? We're going to have some fun with this. Because I did this in the stream, but we're going to do this here. So if you turn around, we're going to advance this frame by frame, right? Now look at what King is doing. And you tell me, why in the hell is this move safe on block? Now, this guy puts everything into this kick. Also, it's a homing attack, as you can see the streak. So this is a homing attack. And then King lands literally on his right ass cheek. He literally lands on the fucking ground with basically his back turned. So explain to me, Namco, why would you make this particular move safe on fucking block? So that right there is another move, a homing attack that will be made punishable. Because there's no way in hell this move right here should be -9. This is absolutely ridiculous. Because now, if I see Trackstar and I'm trying to sidestep, okay, he's going to hit me because I'm getting caught sidestepping because this is a homing attack. But if I make the read and he thinks I'm going to sidestep and he instead does this, I can't punish him. So I'm not rewarded as the player for making that defensive guess. It's absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. And then you look at Trackstar 4, this move right here. This is a move that is that's 0 on hit, 20 damage, and it comes out at 20 frames. Okay. Now, when you block this move, it shows that this is -21. But let's be honest here. King is not going to... The character is not going to experience any significant punishment if the opponent blocks this move. So him being minus 21, they might as well just change this shit to like minus 10, to be perfectly honest. Like, there's really, you're just going to get a slap on the wrist for this. So this character, King, as I'm demonstrating and I'm showing you right now on the screen, this is a perfect example of absolutely horrible character balance. Absolutely horrible. And I haven't even gone into any of the advanced level, elite level bullshit that I know this character is capable of. I'm just doing the bare surface, the surface level shit. And it's already nonsense. It's already nonsense. Let's look at this move. This right here. This is minus 13, right? Okay. Explain to me, on counter hit, this move does 50 fucking damage. 50 damage on counter hit. Why? Why not, right? As far as I'm concerned, I would change that shit to 40. I would change it to 40 damage. But, you know, 50 damage is way too much for an attack like that. Oh, also, before people, so when you are running, after about 3 steps, Track Star becomes like Super Track Star. I think in the stream I called it Elite Track Star. I think we'll just call it Super Track Star. So Super Track Star 1. Oh, hold on. Oh, actually no. Let's go by with him being hit. So we got Track Star 1. That's so you are plus 26 on this attack. That means you cannot do anything. You can't do anything. You are minus 26. You are at the mercy of the King player here. The mercy of a mid attack that, quite frankly, again, is completely safe. Now let's look at the other attacks. Track Star 2. Look at that. It knocks you clean on your fucking ass. And King is plus 5 on your wake up. So now you have to guess on your wake up. Track Star 3 knocks you clear across the stage. It's homing and it does 30 fucking damage. Oh, and of course it wall splats. Why not? Track Star 4, I think I showed that already, right? Now, if we do Super Track Star 1, now you get a full fucking combo. Like, it's absolutely fucking stupid. Super Track Star 2. Look at that. Look at this. Super Track Star 3. 34 damage. And you are plus 21 on your opponent's wake up. So now, let's see. It's absolutely ridiculous. Super Track Star 4. Now you do 24 damage, and you are now plus 20 on your opponent's wake up. Oh, and let's not talk about this absolutely ridiculous nonsense. So you have a 45 damage grab that you cannot block. I mean, you cannot break. Oh, and it tracks, by the way, as you can see. This grab tracks, so you can't sidestep it, right? So it's another tracking grab for no fucking reason. And it puts him in heat. And here's the funny thing about heat. If you notice, his heat meter is going down, right? Now, if I do Track Star RKO, why is he regaining? Why is he regaining heat? Look at this. He gained heat again. Look at this nonsense. I want to emphasize, I don't know who Namco has internally that actually checks these characters, but I make the joke, and I stand by this. I'm believing that they're just getting their next door neighbors to balance this game, because this is absolutely absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. There is no way that this character should have heat, right? As I'm showing on the screen, and then when he gets his unbreakable fucking grab, not only does it now does 49 damage, okay, but it also recovers heat. So if you time this, you can essentially stay in heat forever. So this is an easy fix. First of all, this would work more so the way Steve Fox's heat works. When Steve Fox is in heat and he does his quick, well, he could either, well, you have two options. You could do the instant extended ducking by doing down forward both kicks. That itself will take a massive amount of heat. So in fact, yeah, let's look at this. Now if you look at this, this is absolute. I feel that Steve Fox players should really complain about this, because in fact, for context, let me put Steve Fox on the screen, because I need people to really see this, because I do feel that this is absolutely ridiculous. This is absolutely ridiculous. So again, King is in heat. So when I run, you see it when I activate the run, look how little of the heat gauge it takes, right? Now if I were to do this, do the grab, which is unbreakable, it gives me heat. Now if we compare that to Steve Fox, right? Now watch this. Steve goes in heat. Now if I do his down forward both kicks, look at that. Why does Steve lose so much heat? Look at this. Do you not see how much heat it takes for Steve to activate his extended ducking? Now for Steve's unbreakable grab, now watch this. Do you see? Look how much that took. Now we're gonna do a full heat engager, because people need to see this, right? Full heat. Do you not see that? So for two moves, Steve lost 75% of his heat. Does anybody see? This is why I question people's legitimacy in Tekken. Because people, I'm not saying everybody, but I don't see people really talking about this. Now, if we do the same thing, the exact same thing with King. Now we're gonna put King in full heat. Watch this. So he's running, RKO. Look at the heat difference. King lost like maybe 4% of his heat. But again, if I do the same thing with Steve, just to show it again, in case people were in disbelief, if we do a full heat engager, right? Look at this. Are you fucking serious? So why does Steve... Oh, and mind you, that whole sequence is 50 damage. So why is Steve literally at 10% of his heat? So that means I was only able to use my heat with Steve Fox for essentially one thing. If you really would like the extended ducking, the grab, and the grab, the right punch version. That's it. But yet and still, King can do his heat engager, right? You could run, activate, do your unbreakable grab, get your 50 damage, and you haven't even used a fraction of your heat. Come on, man. Like, this is ridiculous, man. This is not how you balance a character. This is not how you balance a character, and anybody that actually has the nerve to meet me in the comment section to say I'm wrong, I'm a noob, I don't know what I'm talking about, I'm literally showing you right now on screen. And I know there's going to be and I have a feeling who it's going to be, I have a feeling, but the vast majority of my subscribers, thankfully, I have very smart and mature level-minded men and women as subscribers. But there's like maybe 2% of y'all that are just, I don't even know. So, hopefully that is abundantly clear as to some of the reasons why I say King is absolutely busted in this game. Now, another thing that I can show has to deal with one, the grabs again. So just to go through this one more time, left grab, right grab, right? Okay. Now, when King does his when he does his tequila sunrise grab, whatever you call it, the Tijuana twister, this shit. Basically, this is a giant swing with the right punch button, right? This is a giant swing with the right punch. Now, if you look at it on whiff, you can see that this is a right grab. However, with giant swing, you see this is essentially a 1+2 break. Look at a so I'm doing up forward 1+2. You can see in my command history, if you can see it on the left side of the screen, I'm doing up forward both punches, and now I'm going to do the giant swing. This is essentially like, I don't, maybe Namco just did not understand how to create a grab break animation for this particular character that would make sense. But to me, if you're going to give King, and this has been around for a long time, and I felt that this always should have been changed. If you're going to give King this, in my opinion, this should, instead of being giant swing 1, it should be giant swing both punches. Because and the break should be both punches. Because this looks like a 1+2 break. And then what ends up happening is, I'm going to put Steve to crouch. What a lot of elite level Kings do is they will run and mix up Shining Wizard with Giant Swing. So you can get Shining Wizard, right? You get Shining Wizard, bam, Shining Wizard, or look. Now both moves basically have this Shining Wizard, right? Shining Wizard. In fact, let's put him crouching again. Shining Wizard, Giant Swing. So you're supposed to guess between that? That's an unfair guess as far as I'm concerned, because there are players that will literally break grabs not off of a guess, but literally based on the type of arm placement that the character is doing their grabs on. You know what I'm saying? So having a grab that you have to break with 1, but the animation for it is essentially both punches, is again poor game mechanics. It's poor. That's not even a character thing. That's a game mechanic thing. That's something that Namco should have been corrected. But again, it is left to persist, and I don't think a lot of people even bring up. I don't think a lot of people even realize it. And because of that, that is what makes that mix-up so stupid. Because if it was set the way it should, then both the Shining Wizard and the running I can't even do it properly because I'm not a King main. I don't work on these tactics here. But anyway, you know what I'm talking about. So the giant swing, both of those grabs should be broke with both punches. But no, you're forced to do a ridiculous guess because the game developers failed to give the giant swing the appropriate grab animation. So all King players did was they, to their credit, they innovated and was like, fuck it, we could just do the running Shining Wizard or running Giant Swing, and that's why they do it, because the grab break animation is the same as it would be for a 1+2 break, but the Giant Swing is a 1 break. So again, the Giant Swing is a 1 break disguised in the form of a 1+2 break animation. Make that make sense. I'm hoping that what I'm showing with this character is becoming abundantly clear, that these are some of the things that I find incredibly wrong with this game from a character and gameplay mechanic standpoint. Also, another thing that I would really change is crouching grabs. This shit right here, that has to go. Crouching grabs will be breakable. There would be no such thing as unbreakable grabs. There will be no such thing as unbreakable crouch grabs. Every grab will be breakable. Now, then it's up to your opponent to do the break, but you should not have unbreakable grabs, because this is what ends up happening. Remember when I showed Twirl 2? Look at this. Free. 50 damage and you're +1 on your opponent's wake up. And of course you could do the other grab here if you want. You know, you're 0. I guess you would do that just if you want space. But most kings just go for this one, because you're left close to your opponent and you're +1 on their wake up, and it's 50 damage. And then, like I showed earlier, if you block this move, it doesn't matter because you're -9. And then again, here's the threat of this bullshit. So you're put into very impossible situations fighting this character. Now, maybe some of this will be bearable offline, but when we're talking about online play with very suspect netcode at times, you're playing against people who, for some ungodly reason in the year of our Lord, 2025, soon to be 2026, people are still playing competitive video games off of fucking Wi-Fi, despite the fact of them having a $500 plus console or a $1,000 plus PC, but they're too cheap to afford a $15 Ethernet cable. Make that make sense. But anyway, I digress. Oh, and then you have this other move. This is one of his new moves here. This move right here, this string. The fact that both of these strikes is basically -9. There's no reason why both of these should be -9. Because here 3, you can actually delay. Look at this. You see the delay? Now, regular speed, delayed. Look at the delay. Do you see this? Do you see this Do you see this nonsense? So if you have your opponent that's looking to press buttons after this, let's just have Steve do a 1-2, right? Simple 1-2. Breaking this down. So Steve, let's set him to punish. Right? So of course, standing 3 is safe. Now I don't have a problem with that. But now look at this. Now there's 21 damage on counter hit, and you're +5. Now, if the second part lands on counter, the third is guaranteed. And you are now +17 with King running after you, and at this point he's already turned into the super track star, and all of the moves I just showed prior now take effect. Absolutely nonsense. And then of course against the wall you got to deal with that bullshit too. So against the wall, and you got to deal with this fucking nonsense. It's just really, there are just certain things of this game that really should be reworked, and it's just absolutely ridiculous. I'm hoping that some of these things will get looked at, and this is just King, and I haven't even gotten to everything. I haven't even gotten to everything. I haven't. But I feel like at 40 minutes, I think if I were to go deeper, if I were to go deeper, and the funny thing is, I actually had something else in mind for this video, but I can see just spending. This was one character because I had in mind to talk about different things, but this would turn it. I don't want this to go too long, but I think this is a good starting point, and this character King definitely needs to be looked at. And like I said, I did not do everything. I'm pretty sure this character has even more pathetic bullshit. But it's just like I'm not gonna go and I'm just not gonna go that deep. Showing what I just showed off just now is more than enough. Um, of course, I understand that the King mains or the sympathizers will probably descend upon this video like locusts, I'm sure, and will probably tell me that I'm wrong. They're gonna say, "Oh, well, you can do this, you can do that." I'm really, I'm gonna try to listen to those comments. I'll even try to engage, but I think a picture, and in this case, a video, is worth 1,000. It's worth 1,000, and there's no way that all of these options should be safe. There's no way. This is absolutely ridiculous. It makes no sense having all of this, having this bullshit that you can't break. You get 45 fucking damage. Again, oh, and just to touch on this, this right here, this grab, two things. If you are going to maintain that King is going to keep it the way it is, this grab will have a severe damage nerf. No way, no more time. No, this grab will not do any. Fucking up my words. I'm having like 50 million thoughts in my mind, so I apologize. This grab will no longer take 45 fucking damage. That is way too much damage for something that is an unbreakable grab and that gives you heat. Like that's, and then while you're in heat, it does now 49 damage. That's retarded. So we're not doing that. This grab will now do 30 damage. 3-0. In fact, to be perfectly honest, yeah, this grab would be breakable. Now, I will say, if you do happen to get grabbed by this, I may still say, you know what, fine. I can deal with him having heat, because at least if the grab is breakable, and, if the grab is breakable, fine. I can accept it. I would rather see heat completely removed from this grab. I know I'm a little bit flip-flopping on this, so let me just make a ruling. This grab will be no more tracking on this grab. First of all, tracking on grabs in general, done. I don't want to see that. There is no logical reason why a grab should track you. That's what you have homing attacks for. Grabs should not fucking track you. That's absolutely ridiculous. So that's a gameplay issue that I think I'll address in a later video. So the RKO, breakable, no more heat, and also 30 damage. Now I can see people saying, well, damn, you've gutted the move. If it's not unbreakable, and it's no longer 45 damage, and you basically nerf the move. And I would say, yes, you damn right. But if I'm trying to be merciful, okay, Merciful Red is saying RKO, unbreakable, 30 damage, but fine, you can keep your heat engage. I think that is a happy medium. But there's no fucking way that you're going to have this remain unbreakable, doing 45 fucking damage, tracks both directions. No, absolutely not. So, anyway, I think that's all I have to say about King. I really do hope that this character gets addressed. Like I said, I haven't even, I'm pretty sure he has even more scumbag bullshit in his toolkit for those that actually main the character. But based on the surface level stuff that I've shown, I think this shows a very clear picture that this character needs a sledgehammer taken to him, and I guess we'll see what Namco does. I have a feeling, if anything, they'll probably give him another slap on the wrist like they did at the beginning of season 2. But yeah, so I think I'm going to leave off with the video here. Like I said, I had something else in mind, a much larger video where I was going to cover a whole bunch of things, but I think I'm going to set that for different videos, because if I were to include everything, guys, it's going to turn into a very massive video. So I'm going to end off here, and I might start recording the next video. Also, let me know how the sound is with my audio and the in-game volume. Yeah, I think that's about it. So I made a few changes to what I originally planned to do, and I ended up focusing on King a lot more than I thought. But hopefully this gave some insight to at least a few things that I find wrong with King as a character. So anyway, hopefully I managed to earn a few of your subscriptions if you're new. And anyway, take care and see you in the next video.